Welcome to the third lesson in the second module of the Video for Entrepreneurs course. This one is all about the software that we're going to be using to make our videos. If you think back to the earlier lessons in this module, we talked about the equipment, the gear that we need to use to make our videos, and we also looked at how to set up our recording space, the place that we actually make our videos. And so the software is kind of like the final piece of the puzzle. So let's jump into it. So there are four main categories of software that I think are worth talking about: recording, editing, hosting, and then all-in-one. So software that can do everything in one tool. Let's quickly take a closer look at each of these. First up is recording. So with a bit of recording software, we're going to be capturing the raw footage that's going to be used in our final video. And if we think back to the first module and the types of videos that we are going to be making as entrepreneurs, things like demos, tutorials, and online courses, all of these have a screen recording component and a component where we capture ourselves and what we're saying. So we want something that can record our screen and our camera and our audio. Now the key thing is that we want to be able to capture all of this at the same time. And this is going to save us a ton of hassle later in the process because we won't have to sync up the camera track and the screen track and the audio and make sure they all match. The software that we want to use should be able to do all of that for us. So we just record everything and then we get our screen, camera, and audio synced up nicely, ready for us to edit. So when it comes to editing, this is where we are going to want some software that can take those recordings that we've made, combine them together as a single video, and then we can do two key things. Well, we need it to do two key things, and that is to fix mistakes easily and to add some style and branding. So with fixing mistakes, basically it's things like removing too many ums and ahs, or removing the silence at the start of a video or the silence at the end of a video, or any other mistakes. We want to be able to cut that stuff out pretty quickly. And then because we're making videos for our business, we are entrepreneurs and the videos play a role in marketing and education for us, we want it to be easy for the people watching the videos to associate it to our company. So we should be able to add some style and some branding to make that possible. Now, when it comes to video editing software, there's kind of a spectrum. And at one end of the spectrum, you've got kind of professional video editing software like Final Cut or Adobe Premiere. These tools are incredibly powerful, but incredibly complex. So for our purposes, where we have quite a narrow scope of the type of video that we want to make and what's involved, it's not the most efficient kind of tool for us to use. In the middle of the spectrum, you've got more use case specific software like Camtasia or ScreenFlow. Both of these were video editing software that was designed to edit screen recordings. They now can do much more than just that, but that's sort of their origin. And so these are less powerful than Final Cut or ScreenFlow, but more efficient to use for our purposes because they've got some workflows that make more sense for the types of videos we're making, and they don't have so many unnecessary features for our purpose. And then at the other end, the far other end, you've got sort of simple online video editing software, and there's a ton of different options out there for this. While some of these can be really powerful and do a lot of things, which in some cases might even rival some of the more professional video editing software, their real advantage is that they simplify a lot of the complexity with specific workflows and templates. They're particularly good at helping you achieve one particular thing. So if you just want to add fancy subtitles to a video, you'll find online video editing software makes that process really easy. Now, when it comes to which one is best for us, we go back to our key requirements. We want it to be easy to fix mistakes and easy to add our own style and branding. So we're probably going to be in that second half of the spectrum. So between the middle and the bottom end, we want something that's going to be in that space. And lastly, we have hosting, well, second to last. This is where we store the videos that we make. Now, the most obvious thing is just to store the videos on your computer and your local file system. This is probably the easiest way to access your files, but we don't just want to access the files for our own purposes. We're not just trying to watch the videos that we make. We want other people to see these videos, customers, colleagues, followers. And so storing and hosting our videos online is going to make that process a lot easier. There's, I guess, kind of two ways you can kind of look at hosting your videos. You've got more traditional file storage software, things like Google Drive or Dropbox. These are good at storing all sorts of files in a cloud location, and it's easy to access and share, but they sort of lack a few video specific tools. They have quite a basic video player, so if you send that file to someone, they'll be able to watch it online, but they might not have a ton of options there. Then you've got more video specific hosting tools, things like Wistia or Vimeo. These will have a lot more features dedicated to hosting and watching videos, but they are a little bit more expensive because they have that those extra features for specifically for hosting videos. But again, the key thing for us is that it's easy to access and easy to share the videos. So I would say any cloud storage solution would be better than a local one, particularly if the cloud storage option also has its own built-in video player. And lastly, we've got all-in-one. So are there tools that can do the recording, the editing, and the hosting in a single tool? And there are a few. And if we think back to this whole sort of process and all the different tools involved, I would say that this is the tool that you are going to want to be using, a tool that can do all of those in one. If you think through the course so far, there's been a number of times that I've emphasized that really what we want is to optimize for efficiency. We want to be able to make really good content and then get back to the rest of our job. We don't want to have to use a specific tool for the recording and then another tool for the editing and then another tool for where we're going to store and share our videos. We want something that we can just do all of that in one go because it's going to cut out a lot of hassle. And so in the third and final module, where we go through some demos of how to create and edit videos, we're going to be using an all-in-one solution, and that one is called Tella. Now, I'll tell you a bunch more about Tella in the next module, but I hope this module has given you an overview of, one, the process, but also the various tools that can be involved in the process. So whether you choose to use something all-in-one like Tella, or you want point solutions for each of those steps, some tools can also do the recording and editing but not the hosting. Some can do the editing and the hosting but not the recording. At least then you get an overview of the different options that are out there, and you can then start to build out a solution or a set of tools that makes the most sense for you. Anyway, I will see you in the next lesson, which is the start of the third and final module, where we actually get to make some videos.